with every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty.
Okay, we have 1 minute.
And welcome to our second episode.
Welcome to the second episode of the So-Called Oreos podcast. I'm your host, Kia Swin.
And I'm her co-host, Amari Pollard.
I'm their co-host, Rachel Fowler.
I'm
There.
all of their I'm all of their co-host, host, Janae Price. Thank you.
I wish I recorded your face. Yeah, welcome to our second episode. So let's get right into it. This week in Black History. This week in May. So May 14th, 1963. 22-year-old Arthur Ashe became the first African-American to make the U.S. Davis Cup tennis team.
We've been in tennis. It didn't just start with Serena.
You really know your history right now. She said his first name, and Amari was like, yes.
I just love tennis.
And May 17th in 1954, the Supreme Court declared that segregation in public schools is unconstitutional in the famous Brown versus Board of Education case.
Took y'all long enough.
But schools are still segregated, so let's keep on working.
Yes.
Stay woke. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are my little Black History facts this week. Yeah, let's get into it. Amari.
I'm the pop culture queen and dirty pop. This episode, I'm just gonna talk about NBA playoffs. I don't really care about basketball, but it's a very big deal. I've been watching it enough, I feel like, just because I have friends that are very into it. For a second, the Brooklyn Nets were there.
They're out now, right?
They're no longer.
Okay.
Who's surprised?
I cannot contribute to this conversation in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, like, all you
I
really need
can't.
to know is that Golden State Warriors are.
They're going to win the finals.
They're gonna win.
I'm not even sure who they are.
Oh my God.
Are their
Jesus.
colors purple?
No.
Yeah,
gold,
yellow,
Someone
blue.
educate
Gold and
this
blue.
woman.
Yeah.
Golden blue.
Golden.
Steph Curry.
Oh.
Kevin Durant, the baby, my baby.
Bruh, I know nothing about sports. I know Curry.
Curry.
Oh. LeBron, the one
Dwayne.
with the really ugly one. who
Oh,
has
the
unibrow.
Anthony Davis.
Oh, and
You know
the
he's
dude-
getting a whole bunch of girls though too.
You know he
For
is.
no reason.
He's smashing cheeks, and he's just not. He's not the
Sorry
cutest
for
guy.
You don't have to be. You have money.
They're like those eyebrows.
You're right. There's just some things I'm not.
You can't be ugly and broke. Can only be one.
Yeah.
Damn, Kia's
Why?
bringing them with the
Wait, you
hard
can't be
facts.
ugly and broke.
And
You
broke.
can only be one.
oh, okay. You can only, okay.
You can't have
There are a lot of ugly
broke.
dudes out there who have money, but
Yeah,
they get
they're-
girls.
You can't be ugly and broke. Who
Also,
do y'all know that's
also it's
smashing ugly and broke
It's not just
people?
about what's on the outside.
Okay, you can't be.
All right,
You
let's
have
talk
to
about the
have two of
first
the three,
impression.
though,
yeah.
Okay, but also sometimes I don't know how it is for you guys, but sometimes a person may not be the best looking, but through their personality, I'm like, oh, they're like,
I guess so.
That's a lot of digging. Yeah.
That's a lot of digging. Like I need to be in class with you or something for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not swiping right on like ugly dudes and being like, maybe it's personality. Because you know what's wrong? If they're ugly and they have a trash personality, because you know you could play yourself like that.
You know what's crazy? This is why Tinder's not for me, because
love
at
how
one
our
point-
basketball went into
Right.
date.
I don't know.
It's a better choice.
At one point, y'all, I was on Tinder and I was looking at people like, he looks dope. And then I had to stop myself because I was like, wait, I'm not attracted to him.
Yeah,
I just
don't
think he'd
do
be
it.
a cool friend. And then next thing you know, I have
You're on
people
dates with
hitting
people you
me
don't
up.
like.
Exactly, because it's like, I'm not really attracted to you. You were just wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt. So I was like, lit, let's talk.
Right.
But like,
The thing is, dating apps, like, I mean, I only tried it for like, I think a month, like last year or something, but everyone was, this is messed up. I promise I'm not mean. I am mean. Some people think I'm mean. I don't really care. Let me know how you think about me. But and Tinder specifically, I just feel like there wasn't a lot of great choices. So by the time you pass a bunch of ugly dudes, you're like, oh, homeboy isn't that bad. But it's like, wait, actually, I still
That's
wouldn't
the
date
realest
you.
thing. Tinder beer goggles. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
because it's like, wait, why did I swipe right on you? It's like, oh, because you're not as bad as like all the 80 other people.
Yeah.
And I barely have matches because I don't swipe right on y'all. Sorry.
I don't deal with Tinder because that
I don't
shit's
do
whack.
it.
All of them actually are, but I like keep on giving Bumble more chances.
I was about to say, use
I was
a Bumble.
on.
You can
hub.
find a doctor
I was
on
on
there,
Bumble for like 3 days.
Oh my
Rachel,
god, we
you
tried
had
to
to talk
force
her into that.
Yeah, and she was like, after 3 days, she texted us and was like, I can't do this.
Try it a month. I feel you.
done.
I think I'll try it again eventually, but I think I only stayed on for a month. But Bumble, you can. There's not a lot of diversity.
No.
But you can find a husband.
Well, no, okay, but see, that's what I was about to say. My thing is, I have stopped looking at people who are extremely good looking to me, and I've actually so like a guy I was dealing with, I literally said, "Oh, like he looks like he could be serious. Like he's cute,
Oh,
but
that's
he's
so dark.
but he looks like he's like he wouldn't like
Be a fuckboy?
he wouldn't be a fuckboy. I mean, granted, he ended up being
They
like,
all are. Like that's how you
That's
don't
hard to
yourself
tell
because
from a
they're all
picture.
gonna turn out the way you
But he
think they're
looks-
gonna turn out. And then would you rather have one that you are really attracted to or someone that's okay but they both turn out the same? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I'm just continuously impressed, or not even impressed. I don't even know what the word is, by people who think they can get away with certain things.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, who told you could try that?
Also,
on me?
do you ever think like, oh, you're not cute enough to be acting like that?
I say that all the time. I'm like, you're not cute enough, but also you are not on my level.
You're not.
like, huh?
Can you tell that story?
Oh, okay. We about to go into some deep dive.
Story time, guys.
Deep dive.
Dating story time, guys.
It scars me, and well, no, it doesn't. I have too much confidence for it to scar me.
Oh, amen.
So deal with this boy. We're gonna meet for hot chocolate. I think this is cute. This is innocent, right? Hot chocolate after work. Nothing's gonna happen. So he moves it to 9. First clue that I missed. And I was like, okay, 9's not bad. We'll do it. So we go. We're talking. He like immediately plays for the hot chocolate. I'm like, oh, this man's efficient. Like we're talking hour. He's like, okay, so let's go for a walk. We go for a walk. And he stumbles on this door, and I'm always like very slow to realize things. This door is really cool looking, so I'm thinking this is we're going to another restaurant or something else. Turns out it's his apartment. So I'm like walking in there. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna like strategically get out of this? Go up into this elevator where he has like a balcony, so he's showing me onto the balcony. As we're on the balcony, music starts playing. Just like very bad, cheesy, like I was like, am I in some bad rom-com or something? Either way, shit got uncomfortable. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave because he took my hand and tried to tell me that he just wanted me to feel what I had done to him. Yeah.
How old was he?
20. I was 23 at the time, so he was 22. Clearly, he was still in his college days. And I was like really upset. I was crying down the elevator. I ran into the glass door to get out of the apartment. I ran into the glass door, and the guy at the desk was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm fine. So like run.
How did you get out of that situation?
I literally was like, I think I'm gonna go now. Just like put on my shoes and just like left. It took me way too long to try to do it. And so the next day he like texts like, oh, I just wanted you to know like I had a really good time. And so I say, and I could have been mean, but I was like, the next time you take a girl out, make sure she feels like she's worth more than a cup of hot chocolate and subpar conversation, because you weren't doing enough for me to do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And his reply was, oh, honey, but that's all you're worth.
Oh, so now we're fighting.
And I was literally like,
I know where you live. Like,
but I was like, you were very, but the kicker is like 2 months later, I saw him at a rooftop bar.
Are you fucking kidding me?
With a girl in the same, I was like, so he clearly is bringing girls to places near his apartment.
A lot of guys do that.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, Amari, and I had some drinks in me. I was like, you need to buck up and go up to that girl and just tell her what he's about. But then like, I also don't know what she wants in this situation. She could be fine. I don't know. They looked good. I was like, I'm just going to leave it alone. But I was just like very proud of myself afterwards. Not that moment, but when he responded to me, because I was like, ha, you're funny. Because we're at this dinner and you're asking me career advice. You need to ask me for career advice.
He's a literal piece of shit.
Literal. And after that, I was like, I am done with men.
Yeah, that's rough. My God, I don't even know how I would respond to that. Yikes. Did you have anything else for your pop culture?
Right.
segment?
Our pop culture segment just completely
Wait,
went.
what were you trying to say about
I was just gonna say that the Golden State Warriors were gonna win, but like, there's nothing fun about a team
That wins
has
all the
that
time?
wins all the time. Like, you have a monopoly on basketball. No one wants to see a blowaway game. I want to see some tension.
Me
I want to
too.
see some roughness.
It used to be fun when like the Mavericks back in the day in high
Yeah.
school. That's when I had time to watch basketball with my dad and stuff.
Right.
Now I love Kevin Durant. I don't really know what else is going on. It
Is
sucks
he
that
the
he
one that looked like a goat?
probably he is big. Just kidding.
See what you did there.
I don't know if he
kinda
looks
look
like,
like
a
a
goat,
goat.
but he's on Golden State Warriors, so I'm gonna root for them because I love Kevin Durant. But yeah, it's boring when it's like Steph Curry's going for the 16th year in a row. It's like, and then it's usually like the LeBron James team, but I guess Lakers
LeBron,
suck, so
yeah.
whatever.
They're out. Yeah.
Yeah, but anything else for your pop culture, Simon?
No, that was it. I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, you kind of look like a goat.
Okay, well,
But like an animated cute goat.
What
Not
the
like
hell?
a-
No,
not
you
like
can't
a
act
realistic
cute.
goat.
No.
I still love him.
Like,
He's adorable. He's
Kevin, if you're listening,
You don't look like a goat.
I hope we can be cool.
what noises do goats make?
I don't know.
Is that
a goat?
I want to say Bob, but that's a lamb.
I mean, they're like the same.
It's almost the same.
They're in the same genus, Philo and class.
Send us an Instagram of your goat impression. Right into our discussion. Okay, this episode is You Talk So White.
Oh my God, what are you saying?
Why you talk so white? Yeah, I think we talked about this the last episode, but I feel like all of us have gotten this remark.
We're gonna deep dive into this shit.
Yeah. I guess, like, I don't know. I feel like that happened definitely not in college, but probably like high school, probably like earlier high school of like, you talk the way, which I guess is supposed to be like you talk proper. And I usually think black people sound ghetto and uneducated. That's how
that's
I
what it
perceive when you say
translates
you talk so
What, you
white.
mean you don't speak Ebonics? Literally, someone has someone on lacrosse team, we were having a conversation about Scandal, and I was saying my parents are dentists, so I pay attention to people's mouths, and I think the way Kerry Washington talks is very interesting because her lips kind of curl over her teeth.
Yeah,
it's
so
very
true.
it's very
So true.
specific. And I just mentioned that one time during practice, and my teammate says, "Oh, I think she's doing that because she's trying really hard not to speak Ebonics."
What? That's
Literally.
so stupid.
That's like, Kerry Washington very much knows how to speak properly.
Yeah.
She's fine.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, someone said that.
The
to me.
things,
The
you know,
things,
the
people
things you
say.
It's so crazy to put myself back in that time period because I'm so far removed
Right.
from all that dumb shit now that when I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that people used to say stuff like that to me. And it was okay.
And how do we, like, as I guess a society, like, determine that white sounds educated and black sounds
Yeah,
ghetto?
especially
Because white people sound, I mean, everyone can sound dumb regardless of race,
It
but
sound
like,
ignorant.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could sound like country bumpkin. Does that sound educated to
Yeah.
you?
But
No, it doesn't.
My favorite is people like used to make up words in upstate. Be like across, like they put a T at the end of a cross,
Okay.
and I'm
Oh.
like, that's not a word.
I always say elementary, documentary. People really make fun of me for that.
Sound
I
it
say
out.
people make fun of the way I say documentary too.
Yeah, maybe it's an upstate thing.
Twins. Yeah, but I think the way people used to say like I think even the way people used to approach the whole "you speak properly" became more subtle, and kind of they even kind of became more graceful in the way they say
They
it.
went for the well-spoken.
You're so articulate.
Teachers have said that to me. I
Teachers.
remember I was in, you know, that class where they make you take the baby home.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
like
never
home
had
ec?
that.
Yeah, yeah.
No one
don't
ever made
have
me
that.
take a
Well,
baby home.
we had a different name for it.
think
They
we had
like
an egg.
they disguised it. I don't know why I just stuttered so hard, but they disguised it as something else, and I can't remember the name. It was like home development, home economics, whatever.
Home economics, that's a thing.
Yeah. So it was that class, and the teacher I had, I was very involved in the class because, you know, there's a whole bunch of mostly women sitting around reading 17 magazine and talking about recipes to make for your husband,
God.
basically. So I was just like, I was chilling in the class, and she pulled me aside and she said, wow, you're just so well spoken. And she said something to the effect of like, I bet your people are so proud of you.
My people as my parents.
She just said, I bet your people are so proud of
Your
you.
blackies are proud that
Yeah,
you
and I was just
represent
kind
them
of
well.
like, what? Like, it was another situation where I was taken aback, had no clue what to say, just basically said thank you and awkwardly ran out of the classroom, and then later thought of all of the 90 billion kajillion things I could have said to her.
Yep.
Like,
And I also think
It always
like,
happens after.
yeah,
always.
I think teachers need to have like a training of like dealing with students of different races, because it's like you said, like you had that issue and you went up to the cross coach and he didn't know what to do or whatever, and it's like a lot of them don't know what to do, but like you're the person in charge and you make an impact on that child's life significantly, so you need to know how to deal with that type of stuff, and you need to know not to go up to a child and be like, your parents are so proud because you're not ghetto, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me.
What about you, Rachel? Has anyone pointed? You said that the
Yeah,
first episode.
I don't like remember exactly like the scenario, but I've been told a lot of times. But I did work at a customer service job, and I felt like I had to sound a certain way just to make a sale.
Right.
And even like you said before, like going on like job interviews, like speak in a certain way to make sure we're proper, you know, to make sure we get that job. So it's just like wanting to fit in into that society, or, you know, so it's just, I don't know, like dealing with it.
Right.
You know, like you can't just go up there and just like be your normal self.
I think like as I've gotten older, I've kind of had fun with it. Like I love speaking to people on the phone because I know in their head they probably think a certain type of thing about me, and then I love meeting them because I can slightly see the look in their face.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Amari, you can like I may be black, but I could be something else.
Yeah.
Like you don't really know. But then I think my voice kind of sometimes throws people off.
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, I'm just like, this is my voice.
Yeah, I wonder how I sound. I know I sound nasally. I don't care. But yeah, I don't know what people think.
I know my mom had a lot of experiences with that. She worked in insurance for 30 some odd years, and she became like a kind of higher up or whatever. And she said there was this one time where I had to swallow, my mouth was juicy. She said there was this one time where one of her coworkers was talking to someone on the phone. They were upset, asked for a supervisor, and then my mom was put on the phone. And the person started going off about how that black person, blah, 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 you could tell they're so unprofessional. The person started going off. Saying,
Oh, on
you could
the
tell.
other person.
Yeah, on the other person that was helping them before. My mom's just sitting there like, yeah, and I'm black too.
Right.
And the person was like,
I didn't mean that.
yeah, and just
Okay.
like didn't know what to say, and it's like crazy, crazy.
Yeah, I always wonder what white people say behind our backs. I know it's a bunch of BS.
It's what
but
they say in front of our faces.
I think it's worse.
worse. I think it's
I think it has to be worse.
I mean, it's worse, but I feel like I wouldn't be like surprised at anything
No.
they say because I feel like I've already heard like a variation
That's true.
of all this stuff.
I
Yeah,
guess I wonder.
yeah.
What would it be like?
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I've come across some fantastic white people who like they agree. Like white people say the dumbest stuff ever.
If a white person doesn't agree with that statement, don't trust them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. Because I feel just like the conversation that we're having around gender and women's rights and equality for women, if you're not an asshole, then you should not feel offended by
Exactly.
this. If
Right.
you're not treating women horribly, you shouldn't
feel
feel
away.
bad about this.
Yeah.
Same thing with race. If you're
Not
not
all
a-
white people.
Exactly.
That's my
You
fave.
should be aware that we're not saying all white people.
No.
If you're not a dick to people who are a different shade than you, don't feel fucking offended.
Yeah, and
right?
you wouldn't
It's
feel
cool.
offended naturally.
Yeah.
because you know what it is, and you know that it doesn't involve you.
Exactly.
That's
You know
how
that
you
there's a
suss 'em
history
out.
of racism in this country and that people still have not adapted to shit.
And
Yeah.
if you do feel offended, then you're a part of the problem.
And
Right.
think
Ooh,
about it.
amen.
Look at yourself.
Think about it.
But with the you talk so white conversation, I did have this experience in kind of a positive way.
Okay. Pray do tell.
So my grandma, she's from Mississippi, and all of her sisters are from Mississippi, and they all still have very, very Southern accents, very thick Southern accents. And when they get together, it's funny because it seems like their accents get even more Southern. But my dad told me one time that they all came up and were over the house for some holiday. And my dad told me that one of my aunts told him that she loves listening to the way I speak because I speak so properly. And automatically it brought me back to my days of being, called that like an Oreo and being told that I speak so white. And automatically I was like annoyed. But then I like pulled myself back. And I think my dad noticed I was getting annoyed and he was just kind of like
Yeah, because
basically, and he was like,
relate
no,
to
she
something
just
else.
likes listening to the way you speak.
Because I feel like also there's like a difference between associating it with like a race. Like you speak proper, that means that you're presenting more white, like more white traits. But no, like she's just kind of just like admiring the correctness of your speech.
not related to race.
Not
My
related
vernacular.
to your vernacular. And I mean, for at least for my parents, like my family, they're Jamaica, and the colonizers had the British
The colonizers.
ruled Jamaica for a very long time, and so a lot of their education goes along with the British system. And so like when I'm talking to my grandmother, who is also she's a writer, so she's always talking to me about grammar and like proper English and all this stuff. So they're very in tune with like, this is grammatically correct, these are proper words, like this is how you structure a sentence. So I feel like it wasn't just whether proper, like they were very much like pounding into me like, this is
My dad was the same way. Like if we said like a word like the wrong tense, he would just like be like, "Oh, that's not how you say it. This is how you say it."
right.
So
Yeah.
it just depends on like how you grew up and how you were raised.
Right.
And I think as like my major point about this episode is like, it's so disheartening if like a bunch of black people tell other black people, oh, like you talk so white, whatever, because it's like you're encouraging people that look like you to sound like not educated. And that's just so, it makes me cringe thinking about that.
Yeah.
Someone could tell another black person like,
Right.
don't sound too educated, sound like you're right off the streets and whatever.
As I mentioned before, that was definitely a big point for me, like growing up as a teen, where it was kind of like the black people around me that I went to school with seemed like they were just so fixed on acting black. Like there
Whatever
was
that means.
Exactly. There was this kid, I'll never forget him. We went to school together from pre-K or kindergarten on up. He lived in the neighborhood down the street from me. Our families knew each other from way, way back in the day. Like, we were the only black kids, right? And then as time goes by, we get further and further and further apart.
had a friend like
more
that.
and more black kids start coming to the school, and he started really hanging out with that group of black kids that went to school. And I'll never forget, like, I walked up to him one day, and this was like in 7th grade. So it went from 1st grade kindergarten to 7th grade, and he's doing this weird mumble talking thing. He's like,
oh God.
he's doing this like mumble, slangy, improper thing. And I never really said this to him, which I should have, but I'm looking at him like, what are you doing? I know your parents.
Also,
like,
you don't need to do that.
you don't need to do that. And it was so many of the black kids that I went to school with, they just wanted to fit into this like stereotype of what they thought they should be. Like, oh, I grew up on the South Side. And it's like, you know good and damn well, Jamal, that your parents moved here when you were in 3rd grade. Stop acting silly, boy. You just like me.
Right.
Like,
That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like that kind of happened to me in in high school, and I think that's why I felt like very isolated in high school. I mean, I had friends, but I just called everyone my acquaintance, basically, like not super close, and I felt like I just needed to remove myself from the white people and the black people because both sides were not understanding where I was coming from at that point. And I also didn't want to kind of present myself in a way that white people thought I should be acting. And again, there weren't enough. I feel like our school was so limited and the number of black kids that was either like you were either on a sports team and you just kind of hung out with those people, or you were kind of just floating. I feel like a lot of us were floating. Yeah. And like when we graduated, we all got into a picture together. And I was like, man,
same thing happened to me, bro.
I was like, I have not hung out with any of you.
Yeah.
Like seriously, since we were like in elementary school or something.
But all the black kids got together.
But we
to
all
take
could fit in a picture, and there were like 10 of us in our class. Out of like 450.
You're like, this girl in 7th grade told me that I was acting white and that I was stuck up and stank. This girl I haven't actually hung up with. You know, it has to be an upstate thing, man. We both went to suburban schools in upstate New York, so that.
Yeah, I only took pictures with people I liked.
Yeah. No, we were all like, let's get together, friends.
Yeah. No.
Key, not friends.
So I was looking up stuff about this topic, and I came across this poet called, I don't want to mess up her name, but I probably will, sorry. Maya Wegerif? Wegerif.
She black?
Say it. She's South African.
She white.
No, she's black. Sorry.
I'm sorry. There are a lot of white people in South Africa. Everyone's like, I'm going to Africa. I'm like, you mean you're going to South Africa?
Which because they usually say yes. Yeah, but no, she's black. She's South African, and she has a slam poetry on YouTube called "Why You Talk So White," and it's about. Well, you guys can listen. It's like 4 minutes, but if you look it up on YouTube, it's about how a black person.
Poetry.
It's about how a black person went up to her and was like, "Why do you talk so white?" And how she talks about how English is like a white language and how she can actually speak her native tongue. So actually, you talk so white. Anyway, it's a good it's a good poem, slam poetry, and yeah, you should check it out. And then I was looking it up, and I actually came across an article on Noisy about her because she turned into a rapper. She's like a South African rapper.
That very much slam poetry very much lends itself.
Yeah,
100%.
And I think her I could be saying it wrong again, but her rap name is Show My DJ. Definitely messed it up. Look it up, y'all. Look it up. Just Why You Talk So White and Google, it'll come up. Do your research. But yeah, I thought it was a really interesting poem and how she was talking about languages and stuff like that.
I think also like Americans particularly, I find it interesting because I'm like, most Americans aren't even speaking proper English.
No, they don't.
They're speaking American, whatever that is. Yeah. But it's not proper. And
yeah, and even saying like speak American to like people, it's like, do you even know like how to be?
We're in America. Speak English. It's like, no, you're not speaking English.
And America doesn't have a national language, so also educate yourself. Nope. We do not.
Isn't Spanish, isn't Spanish like it's
spoken more?
Isn't Spanish?
I don't know, but I know for a fact that America does not have a set language. Like
I wonder why
if you look
we
at
don't.
it, because we have a bunch of people that migrate
we're a melting
here.
Pot.
Yeah, we're a melting pot.
We're not a melting pot.
We're not, but
we're
it's
a salad.
like.
Ooh,
I don't even know.
Good.
It's like we all mix
good.
in the same thing, but at the end of the day, a melting pot is like if I melt everything together, it becomes one cohesive substance.
But we're not one.
But we're not gonna. I can
Amari.
take a tomato out. I can take this cucumber that does not taste like anything out.
You'll still have a salad.
I'll still have
The leaves, which are the white people.
But at the end of the day, we kind of again stay with our tribes. We mix, but it's not.
Integrated.
It's not integrated.
Separate but equal.
It's not the same. So I've
Malcolm
like
X.
I think like since like not elementary school, I think it was like since middle school, I've like promised myself I'm not going to use the word melting pot because that just like does not properly describe America.
I wrote an essay freshman year of college about how the American dream is a lie.
Oh, of course.
I think I have that, but I remember we were doing essays and I was like, I'm gonna write about how this is a lie because that's not true. What's an American dream? Okay.
Also, like the American dream is probably the most real for if you're a white
100%.
male.
Yeah, American dream for like you came over the border and America treats you like crap. That's not, that's not
Also,
realistic.
like a lot of Americans don't even consider Americans American. We're
Yeah, we're
African
still
American.
looked differently.
You're never gonna be under there unless you're white. You're not gonna be fully considered American.
Yeah.
You're other. We're
And
other.
I think that's what a lot of African American people identify with, because it's like we can't, represent. People come here from like Jamaica or
right.
Mexico, whatever. We still Dominican Republic. We have that flag. Like, oh, I identify with this. But Americans like that flag.
yeah.
Like, the American flag really is like when you look at it, it's like you're kind of like taking
It's
it back.
very
It's like
controversial.
it's like ooh, it's like. I
doesn't feel
wear
like it's
everyone
mine.
who wears the American flag is usually a racist or
Yeah.
a crazy nationalist, patriotic. And so it's like, damn, I can't even wear my flag because
It
y'all mess it up.
feels weird.
Yeah, it feels weird
to wear.
it,
My
which
mother
is crazy.
always makes a point to get a different because every year Old Navy has an American flag shirt
Yeah.
for the 4th of July. She makes a point to get it. But she's the only black person that I
never see.
know who actually looks good and like, I don't want to say good, but actually it looks natural. For the most part, when I see a black person wearing any type of America, anything that represents America, I'm just taken aback
Yeah,
a
I'm
little bit.
taken
But
aback
it's
by
not
it.
like I hate it. It's just kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel, I guess, like very privileged in the fact that because my family is from Jamaica, I can trace like my roots back somewhere to a certain extent. Like, I feel I am of the diaspora, but I cannot tell you from where in Africa my family comes from. And I'm sure if I go over to Africa, they would make sure to tell me that I'm not African, because I'm not.
Yeah.
And do I necessarily feel American? No, because America has made it clear to me that I'm not a part of this community.
Yeah.
So the closest thing I have to grab onto is Jamaica, and even in Jamaica, I'm not Jamaican. So it's just these very weird things. But I do feel bad, like for people like African Americans who their roots come from the South, and they can't they're like, oh, you're African American, and I'll proudly represent that, but Africa is not really mine anymore.
Yeah. It's a separate, identity kind of like
It
that
is.
African American.
And it's sad.
Yeah, I'll never forget the days of being in school and being asked to, trace back my lineage and make a family tree.
Or
Because it's like-
what's your last name? Where's
Price.
where's that from?
Yeah. I know my last name is both actually on my dad's side and like his and my mom's side. They're both. Well, on my dad's side, it's English. On my mom's side, it's Dutch.
Right, and it's like, how do you get that name? We know how we get those names.
Exactly. And it's like, I feel like it's such a weird thing as an African American who is here because of slavery.
Yeah.
Because you can only trace back your
So
roots,
far.
but so far. And then after that, it's just literal blankness. Like I can just trace it back to a few generations in Mississippi in the 1800s and
disappears.
it disappears.
And I think we'll go into an education episode, but another thing of like teachers have to be aware of these things when you ask a group of
100.
kids what's your background or whatever. And I remember in college I worked for the Global Education Center. You would think that this woman, sorry to offend anyone, but she was smart enough to not do ignorant stuff like that. But we had a group of kids from South Korea, China, and Mexico, and this was in front of the president of the college, so this was a big deal. And she had the employees come up, and we're all very diverse. I think it's like me and a Spanish girl, another girl, and my boss was white, and she was like, okay, we're gonna go around and say like where our roots are from, whatever. And I said my roots are from America, and in front of like the international kids and the president, she's like, no, but like where are they from? And I said America.
Slavery.
And I wanted to say slavery just to like make her look dumb as hell in front of the president of the school, but I was like not trying to get fired, not trying to do all that. But I just looked at her like America, like just
That's
looked
as
at her
far
in the
as I
face,
know
and
where
then
roots
she
go.
was like, she said something like, oh okay, like she made a joke or said something like, oh I guess we'll find out later, something stupid that made
So
me still
insensitive.
stupid. But it's like, girl, what do you want me to say? Like Africa, like, because I that could be wrong for all I know.
And then
at that
she's going to
point.
ask you, well, where
What
in
part of
Africa?
I don't know, girl. Ask your ancestors. Like, I could have said that too.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't want to clown her in front of the president. But I was just like, people are so ignorant. Like, I know you all know the history of America. And I know you all know the history of black people in America.
She just literally
You just
probably
wanna be
was
ignorant.
not thinking about it.
And she is
wasn't
the
thinking
head
about
of
it.
the Global Education Center.
Yeah.
I just want to say that again because, my God, that is so ignorant. And the other Global Education, her, like, boss, it was the same summer we had the Mexican kids or whatever, and mine, like, sorry, that shouldn't sound wrong. Why does it sound wrong? But anyway, they were Mexican and they were our students, and we said hi to, like, the girl, whatever. This is just, like, white privilege at its finest. So the girl, like, we're talking to her, she's like, is kind of ignoring us or whatever, right? And she's like, oh, sorry, I thought you were the Mexican students. Yeah. It was me and another girl. Mind you, I had worked there for like 6 months. The other girl had worked there for like a year and a half or 2. And this girl, like, we were working for this woman, right? She was completely disregarded, didn't even care to know our names. Just like, oh, I thought you were the Mexican students.
How?
Because she's ignorant and white. I don't know. We just looked at each other like, luckily we didn't have like an HR department or whatever, because that's like
No, you mean you should have had an HR department.
Yeah, but it's a school, so, you know.
But I don't know, like, I was just thinking about this, like, when you guys were talking, that, like, as I've gotten older, less people have been commenting on, like, how I speak, or not really how I speak, but, like, focusing less on how I articulate myself, and have kind of been commenting on the fact that I code switch. Like, I've found out that people have made comments to my other friends about, have you noticed that, like, she'll speak a different way when she's speaking to other black people? And
Do you think that's true, or do you think they're just saying?
No, I think it's true.
Yeah.
But I think it's also just like, I'm more relaxed when I'm speaking
with black people.
Black people or just people of color. I'm just a little bit more buttoned up, and just more aware of what I'm saying when I'm around white people. But I don't know if that's happened to you. If anyone's, like,
I wonder if
pointed
I
out
do.
your code switching.
Do I code switch? We work together.
I don't know, because I probably do it too.
I know I
don't know.
do it. Yeah.
I don't know if I
don't think I do.
I feel like it maybe, but someone will have to tell me. I don't know.
Yeah, someone would have to. I don't. Since I've been in my professional life, I do not think I do.
I don't think I
also-
do either, because I don't like doing
I don't
that
think you
stuff.
do either.
But also, what is the demographic of, you know, like, your office culture?
yeah.
Because I'm the only black person on my team.
I was too.
Yeah, ours
At this
is
place.
ours is still very, like,
I was the only black person on my team.
ours is still mostly white, but it's a millennial work environment. So being uniquely yourself is still encouraged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also just like the media industry as a
Exactly,
whole.
because you work in media too, though.
Okay, so maybe it's small. I don't know. Yeah, that's different.
No, media is very much publications. You need to work on your diversity because it's very much very white.
Yeah, but we work for I work for a millennial media company, and you work for a little bit of an older.
Yeah, but I'm on the
Company.
digital team, which digital teams you tend to skew younger. Which our digital
True,
team is, I think, more is more diverse. But I know other people who have, like, worked at, you know, younger publications, and it's always predominantly white. But publishing has had a history of being predominantly white. It's not anything new. But I just thought it was interesting that someone pointed out that was code switching, and I thought it was kind of interesting because I kind of took it as, like, a compliment, I guess,
Like,
because
ooh,
I had
that talent.
Yeah,
Look at
because-
my resume. Code
right.
switch.
I think just because, like, I was so used to people pointing out to me that they thought I
talk so
sounded
white.
white.
Yeah.
And you talk so white, Amari. So for someone to, even though that's still problematic that she's saying, like, even though code switching is a thing, but you're associating it with, like, black.
And that's not her thing to point out,
Right.
anyway,
And I think
so.
I was a little bit more taken aback too, because she's a woman of color. So I was like,
Oh, she's a woman of color.
yeah,
and she pointed it out.
but I think I was just, maybe she doesn't, I don't know, but I was just like, well, I'm sure, like, she's Mexican American, so I'm like, I'm sure that there's code switching within your own culture too.
Yeah.
So that, I think that kind of hurts more sometimes when people, I think I run into the issue of thinking as just people of color in general, we're all on the same team. But that's just not.
That's a lie. Yeah.
If you've run into experiences with code switching, hit us up at socalledoreos@gmail.com.
Hey.
So
Rachel's
turn.
Yeah, so May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and on this episode, I wanted to talk about stress management for millennials. According to the American Psychological Association, both millennials and Gen Xers report an average stress level of 5.4 on a 10-point scale, where 1 is little or no stress, and 10 is a great deal of stress. And the common effects of stress, according to Mayo Clinic, stress symptoms can affect your body, your thoughts, and feelings. Stress that's left unchecked can contribute to many health problems, such as high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. And high blood pressure and diabetes run in my family. So, and I know it runs in a lot of.
Also, let's just be honest, Black folks. It just all
runs
the bad shit runs in us.
Yeah, we get the bad shit. So we definitely need to learn how to cope and manage and deal with stress. And one of the things that I love to do is exercise. Exercise is one of my biggest stress relievers. Writing in a journal, speaking to a mental health counselor, eating a well-balanced diet, changing your eating habits and consuming more water, music, meditating, finding a new hobby. Self-care is really important. Again, take care of yourself, whether going to the spa, getting a manicure, taking a break from work and just the everyday craziness that you go through with life. So to end with mental health issues and mental health illness, just remember that it's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it. So make sure you manage your stress.
That's important. That's actually,
Yeah.
that's very important, because I was about to say stress is going to kill me. But
Yeah.
you're right.
That's deep.
It can.
It's very, very bad.
I guess we should move on to notes from a messy bitch.
Janae's that messy bitch.
Messy bitch. So this particular situation is something that came up at work. There was this guy who had been in this relationship for a quick span of time with this girl that he was crazy about. They were friends beforehand. And then she broke up with him, and he finds out that basically she just dated him to kind of get over an ex. And that was basically it. The dude was really heartbroken and upset, and he was just asking, what should I do?
Is he cute? I'll mend his heart.
He's okay looking.
Oh, never mind.
He's okay. He was saying that this girl still wants to be friends and hang out with him all the time. He still has feelings for her, but he's just having a hard time basically moving forward, and was asking, how do I get over this
I think he knows
girl?
the answer. Block.
Just block.
Hit that block button.
So this is what I said. I said that, first off, this girl is shitty. You should not be spending any time on her whatsoever.
She does not
100%.
value you as a person.
Exactly, she does not value your time and is really, really cool with wasting your time. But I know that just Xing someone out of your life is a lot easier said than done. So I told him, you need to look at getting some new hobbies, go to the gym, spend some time on hanging out with friends that maybe you neglected while you were in this relationship. Really focus on you, and don't make time for her. If she hits you up let's hang out, just be fill that time with going to the gym, taking a cooking class, reading a damn book.
I think you need to do both. I think you need to invest your time in yourself and your hobbies and in yourself, but I think you also do need to take the step of I know you don't want to block them, but that you know yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know if you're going to go on that person's Instagram profile and stalk them 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Or mute them or something. Do something that works for you, but do something that's also efficient.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not the best communicator, but I've been trying to work on it, and I think it's also important that maybe it'll help him if he expresses to her how that made him feel, but not just on a relationship level, but I always get hurt
As a human.
As a human, I always get hurt in relationships because it's just even if this goes sour, I thought you would have enough respect for me as a
100%.
person, as a friend first.
Yeah.
So I think he just, like you said, like, get hobbies, do what kind of makes you happy. And also, like, you'll feel better that when the person hits you up, you're actually having fun doing something else
without
they weren't
them.
even on your radar.
Without them. And I was also like, if you want to keep this friendship, if you want to keep this relationship, and this isn't just something that you need to get over,
Right.
you should say to her, like, that was messed up. That really hurt me what you did. Like, don't necessarily say, well, I need time now, but just let them know, like, that was messed up.
But how can you call that person your friend?
Yeah,
like,
that's
not
what I'm
even
saying.
a friendship. Like,
I think
you need to
he's
let her
probably
go.
clouded by the relationship, but also
Yeah.
when people say like, "Let's be friends," do you need more friends? Because I feel like we're at the age
Where we
like
don't.
mid-20s where you have enough friends.
Yeah.
You have your college friends, you have your high school friends, you have your adult friends. You don't need more friends.
And
We're
she
not out here
didn't
making
do something
friends.
that was friendly, so how
Yeah.
could y'all still be friends?
Wait, but also, like-
she wasn't friendly.
But my question also, too, is, like, did they even... My favorite is when some people are like, oh, we can still be friends. It's like, we never entered this relationship
as
with
friends.
As friends.
no, but they were friends.
They were friends
They
first.
were
Then
friends.
she's-
That's
first.
even worse. Then
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
She's selfish.
That's worse. And I think also, like, it's okay for him to just, like you said, block her, just leave it alone. And when he feels better about it, maybe he can re-enter the situation. I've stopped talking to someone I've dealt with for a year and re-entered it. Granted, that was not healthy for me, and it ended poorly.
By the time you do that, you're probably going to be over that girl anyway. You
Right,
know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
So,
Yeah.
like, again, also, I feel like we're at this age where I'm speaking advice to myself too because I need to listen. Is that we just need to find people who just appreciate us, and like we need to value our time because people make time for the things that are important to them. Like, if she's not making, if clearly you're just not important to her. And she showed you that. And what's that other cliche saying? Like, once people like
show you their
the-
colors, believe them. Or
yeah, believe
show
them.
who
Once
they are.
something like
believe
that.
them.
Yeah,
Like,
action speaks louder than words.
you're worth more than someone using you to get someone jealous. Like, also, are we in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
There's just so
that?
many
That's
things
young.
wrong with this that it's
Yeah.
just like, why would you even consider
It's just
giving? I know it's harder for other people. For me, it's like, once you do me wrong, I will never forgive you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to murder you. I want to make your life miserable. So it's easy for me to be like, oh, you did me wrong. Cool.
I think he's just stuck on the emotion. I think he still likes her. And he's just not resolved.
Then go on
from the
Tinder. I don't know what to tell
relationship.
you.
It's like, bruh, just get busy.
Get busy.
Get busy.
in more
busy
ways
on
in
Tinder.
more ways than one. But like also, one of my friends always likes to say, he's like, you know, he kind of like compare. I don't know the right analogy or metaphor or whatever, but he's like, it's kind of like a moth. Like, it's always going to the brightest light. So you just need to find a light. Maybe that's a person, maybe that's a hobby, or maybe that's whatever that is brighter for you, and just move towards it.
Yeah.
I like
For
that.
me, it's like, I just feel like life is too valuable and time is too valuable, especially now, to be spending it with someone that doesn't like me or I don't
Yeah.
like them. I don't get how people in their 20s are still doing that. I think
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That was definitely something that I kind of had to realize earlier in my little dating game, where it was kind of like, I'm giving time to these dudes who straight up told me like they only want a specific thing, and I'd continually lie to myself and be like, I'm cool with that.
Right.
And then be hurt later down the line where they do exactly what they
At
said
least
they
they
would
told
do.
you, damn. Because
Yeah.
usually it's like, I'm 9 months in and then I'm finding out.
or I think, at least with I don't know if this has happened for you guys too, but I think guys mask it too, where they give you just enough where they know it'll kind of keep you around. Like,
For sure.
I've
That's
had-
a tactic,
I've
girl.
had guys. I think they all like meet up and kind of talk their lines over because I've had the exact same line.
have
Where it's
meetings.
like, I don't want anything at this like right now, but like I really love your company and I enjoy talking to you and being around you.
That's so confusing to me.
Right, so it's-
how you can be like, I don't want anything right now, but you're
The
asking
with
me
you
on
is
dates.
silent, girl. I don't want anything with you. The with you is silent. That's what I just want to
they're
say.
No,
basically
it's
saying, I
like,
just
I
wanna
don't
have
want
sex with
anything
you.
right now, but you want to take me on dates. You want to go out together.
wanna hold my hand
wanna
in
hang
public
out.
and kiss me.
Exactly. Like, that's
Like, we're dating.
I'll
To
start out.
translate, I want the benefit of you without
Without-
giving you the emotional benefit that you need.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
That's what it is.
Buddha.
Like, we love,
Gandhi.
I love holding your hand. I love being intimate with you. I love going on dates with you. I love all that, but I don't want you to call me your boyfriend or something like that.
It's essentially, I don't want to feel obligated to you. I don't want to feel like they don't want you to feel like you have the right to do certain things or say certain things. And it's just about time that I feel like we all know our value.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show, y'all.
And y'all will understand more into your dating game and your, I just feel like we all understand that I don't want something with you and I want the benefit of you, but I don't want to give you that emotional benefit of you.
That's
Y'all
a
figure
hard
it out.
Honestly, that would
learn.
really just save, man, guys just save girls time and just say, I don't want to be with you.
That's it.
And don't start
just
doing
tell
that
us.
lovey-dovey stuff because
it's
I'll have it
confusing.
straight at first. You say you don't want anything serious. I don't want anything serious. Cool, bomb. But then you start holding my hand.
You're talking
you start
about how
asking
we're
me
going to
places.
da-da-da-da-da.
Exactly.
Talking
you
about-
asked me to travel with you.
Talking about future things.
You introduce, I saw these things where dudes are like talking about introducing girls to their mama, and they don't even and their moms are just like, oh, another girl. Like,
Yeah.
why are y'all doing all that?
Exactly.
Why are y'all introducing girls?
Why?
Like, what?
Literally, if y'all just kept it clear and cut,
I
this is what we
promise
do
you.
when this is how we're gonna do. Girls will be
good.
fine.
We will be
It's
okay.
when you muddle it. Like, don't just text me whatever. Don't start calling me at random times and doing all this cute stuff and trying to FaceTime me.
I think their fear is that they won't get any catches if they're completely honest. But the real thing is you'll have to probably do a little bit more digging. But you can find a girl who just wants to
You
hook
can
up
find a
and
girl that
doesn't-
wants to do exactly what you,
You
want
can.
to do.
You just
It is
have to
just-
put
they're-
forth the
they're out
energy
there.
and look. Don't be lazy.
Yeah, don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy.
Also, don't start. I hate it when guys just start really strong. And so they make you think that, we're moving
then they
towards
fall
a
out.
relationship,
They fall out.
and then they
Fizzle,
fizzle,
fizzle.
and you're just like, man, if you were
Fizzle.
just upfront first,
For
we could have
real.
saved ourselves so
Exactly.
much more
And now
time.
I'm out here looking crazy and
Right.
desperate, hitting you
We're
up,
too
being
grown
all
for this
sad
shit.
and over emotional.
We are too grown for this shit.
Too grown. All right, y'all.
This
That's
is another episode.
Another episode.
Yeah, we ended up hot right now.
Yeah,
So
I'm warm.
bothered.
Follow us at so-called Oreos on all social media. Email us. I want to hear your comments, your questions, your concerns, your advice, help.
Yeah,
anything.
also, tell us your thoughts on the episodes. what you-
Feedback.
Yeah,
give
what
us feedback.
What you want us to talk about next.
It could be good feedback, bad feedback.
Right.
You hate my voice. I don't care. Tell us. I'm strong.
Don't tell me you hate my voice.
Y'all can tell me anything really.
No,
but
yeah.
I will find you and fight you.
Sometimes I can be a bit of a mouth breather. So if I'm breathing too much,
Don't be too mean. Damn.
Right.
Just,
Yeah,
just
don't be too
okay.
mean.
Constructive criticism is
with a
always
capital C.
appreciated.
At so-called Oreos at gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's another episode. We'll see you next time.
peace out, y'all.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.